Guys, we have an urgent information coming out. Russia announces nuclear deployment planning with top ally. All right, we're going to see what's going on here. Do me a favor, hit that like and hit that share button. Thank you so much for your support. It says here Belarusian Defense Minister Viktor announced Wednesday, August 13, 2025, that nuclear weapons exercises practicing deployment will soon be held near Borisov in the Minsk region, occurring as U.S. President Donald and Russian leader Vladimir are scheduled to meet in the U.S. So the latest nuclear exercises follow the Bear formal revision to its own nuclear doctrine in late 2024 to lower the threshold for potential use of nuclear equipment, a change that Western officials and analysts said was meant to deter expanded military support for Ukraine. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Once again, tensions are really high, especially we are basically 2 days away. August the 15th is that date. Donald and Putin face to face in Alaska. All right, so they're going to be discussing the situation in Ukraine and try to end this war. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. So it says here, Belarus has made one of the Bear staunchest allies throughout the years-long war between the Bear and Ukraine that escalated when Vladimir invaded Soviet territory across the border in Eastern Europe. Now, Vladimir and Donald are slated to meet one-on-one this Friday, August the 15th, 2025, at Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson in Alaska, the largest military facility the state, as the world leaders intend to discuss options for ending the conflict in Ukraine that began in February 2022. European venues such as Vienna and Geneva were ruled out as a meeting spot due to the legal risk of hosting Putin, who faces an ICC arrest warrant for the war crimes. Wow. So once again, this is going to be a big event this Friday, and I have more breaking news. It's going to be talked about over Grand Supreme News tonight. They shut down the airspace in Alaska. All right, so for this coming Friday, so it's completely shut down. And we're going to talk a lot more this breaking news about Yellowstone shaking. We got a whole bunch of news that's going to be over at Grand Supreme News channel. All right, give me a second here. So it says here in July, Donald and former Russian leader Dmitry engaged in a back and forth about a peace deal and nuclear provocation, with Donald telling Vladimir confident that he should watch his words and that he is straying into dangerous territory. It says here, what to know. Well, you have Kremlin said Wednesday that main troop maneuvers for the Belarus and the Bear Zapad 2025 exercises would include one of the Orishnik system. According to the Belarusian and the Bear state media. Now, the primary active event and troop operation for Zapad 2025 will be concentrated on training grounds near Borisov in the Minsk region, with the larger exercise set for September 12 through the 16th, according to Belarusian officials. Truly apologize about the advertisements. As it was previously stated by the head of state, all major operational activity and troop maneuvers will be concentrated in the central part of our country, at our main training grounds near Borisov. Krenin told the SB Belarus today, adding that 4 of the 5 fortified areas established on presidential directives for national defense operation are fully prepared. Currently, 4 of these 5 fortified zones are operational. They have been handed over for use and are actively engaged in combat training exercises, he added. Now, during Zapad 2025, we also plan to conduct troop training in 2 of these areas where small units will execute practical tasks aimed at repelling potential adversaries. This is part of a planned event with exercises held every 2 years, he added, rather than some sudden decision. So Belarus reported that all components of its armed forces would participate, with core contingents from the Western and Northwestern commands and Special Operation Forces taking part in a maneuver near Borisov. All right. And I just posted a video not too long ago. You got the Red Dragon warship, not warship, but 5 ships out there near Alaska. You got so many things happening, guys. A lot of military movement, even here in the U.S. You got DC soldiers and stuff going on, National Guards. So we are definitely seeing a lot of it happening. Minsk announced that participants would practice countering airstrikes, combating enemy sabotage groups, and planning nuclear weapons deployment, including with the Orishnik system, an intermediate-range weapon the bear previously used in strikes targeting Ukraine. Fundamentally irreconcilable worldviews. So it says here the bear showed utter disrespect of Donald and the U.S. when it launched the largest combined drone and missile strike on Ukraine hours after Donald and Vladimir ended their phone call on July 3rd. I just feel like Donald is not giving like the full detail of the phone call. He gives us all the good stuff, but again, he doesn't give us the bad stuff. This comes after months of Moscow delaying and obstructing Donald bold and noble efforts to bring the war to end through negotiation. This disrespect is not surprising. Vladimir I'm gonna skip that name, is deep-seated, though often skillfully disguised, when he wants to manipulate other leaders. It goes back to his days feeling humiliated and infuriated by the Soviet Union collapse while he served as a KG, you know what, in the East Germany. We're gonna skip all that information there. Basically, that's how, again, Vladimir was a KGB. Alexeyev said one of the Bear's underlying objective as part of its invasion of Ukraine goes beyond conquering people and territory, but to signal to the rest of the world that the sleeping giant will never again be first round. Give me a second here. Never again be first. That it cannot protect its friends and allies, even those who share its fundamental values such as freedom of speech and religion. In that sense, Vladimir goals and Donald worldview are fundamentally irreconcilable. I truly apologize about the word, guys. All right, so it says here what people are saying. So U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott told Bloomberg television in an interview on Wednesday morning. I think everyone has been frustrated with Vladimir. We expected that he would come to the table in a more fulsome way. It looks like he may be ready to negotiate. And we put secondary tariffs on the Indians for buying the Russian oil. And I could see if things don't go well, then sanctions or secondary tariff could go up. Now, once again, you have Scott added, I'm not going to get ahead of the president, but the president is the best at creating leverage for himself. And he will make it clear to Vladimir that all options are on the table. And Donald has been very patient with Vladimir. Donald has tried to talk to Vladimir about ending this war. So Donald has been very patient, but it seems like Vladimir is just playing mind games. Ukrainian leader Zelensky, during a meeting with European leaders, he believed Vladimir is bluffing ahead of his talks with Donald, accusing Vladimir of trying to apply pressure on all sectors of the Ukrainian front to project that the bear is capable of occupying all of Ukraine. So what happens next? Well, Belarus reported that 3 collective security treaty organization exercises, search, echelon, and interaction would take place from August 31st to September 6th at the Vitebsk training ground. Once again, the Bear unit had already arrived with other CSTO contingents expected to join. Once again, NATO and neighboring countries said they would continue to monitor troop movements and exercises. Western officials reiterated public settlements that doctrinal changes by Moscow increased the need for vigilance. All right. So this is all the information here. So once again, Russia announces nuclear deployment planning with top ally Belarus. All right, so this is where we are right now, guys. And I will leave the link in the description box. But we are 2 days away, literally 2 days away from this very important meeting. It's going to be trending. It's going to be worldwide. Everybody's going to tune in. World leaders is going to be watching this. I mean, you got Putin and Donald face to face. All right. Hopefully we get good news and that the biblical war will end. But my gut tells me it's not going to end. I mean, again, you got Zelensky, the leader of Ukraine. He doesn't want to give up the lands. Donald wants to do a swap. He wants to, exchange territories. But again, we're going to see how all this plays out. But my gut tells me this biblical war is not going to end. Thank you so much for watching, guys. For those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put faith and trust in Jesus Christ, for He's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.